Now, again, Brian, you guys started back in well, 2005. You started Rock Grip, if I remember correctly. You had done basically Bryan and Gregg had done the first ever really crowdsourced, climbing, rock climbing
Social media.
directory, right, or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, if you want to go way back, I was on tour with my wife at the time. We were traveling the country, and I was constantly looking for places to climb every place I went, and it was difficult to find places. Nothing existed online back then, so I was going into the yellow pages or going down to the hotel lobby asking them for a rock climbing gym or someplace to go rock climbing. They always looked at me like I was crazy. So as I was traveling, I built a directory to tell people what gyms, what climbing areas were around the country. And when I came off a tour, Greg and I and another couple of guys got together and we decided to build this site called Rock Grip, which was almost like Facebook. And it was a social networking where people can come on who were rock climbers and talk about places and help people share images, share information about climbing. And that grew very fast. And it got to the point where nobody was really paying for ads online at that time, outside of Google. Like, it was really difficult. So to get somebody like a North Face or something like that to come onto the site, they would give us gear or like $35 for an advertisement. And a lot of sponsorships. We had shoes and jackets, but we couldn't turn it into money. We just didn't know how to make money online at the time, which was difficult. So that's where Rock Grip kind of started.
And like where from? So let's just fast forward a little bit. So from Rock Grip, where did Sales on Orders really come about? I know I joined in 2014. You guys really, that's when Sales on Orders itself was kind of just starting out. We were still New Dynamics at the time. We were a BigCommerce, one of the first BigCommerce design partners. We were developing BigCommerce, Shopify, Magento stores, custom e-commerce websites. And then when I joined, I was just as Sales on Orders was we were lifting that off the ground. What brought that all about? How did Sales on Orders come to be?
Yeah, I'll take a long story and make it short, right? So going back to the Rock Grip days where there was no money being made. It was four of us in one of my friend's apartments, and we didn't even have money to get desks for each other, right? We had a couple of computers, and I remember Greg took the door off the hinges and put milk crates under it, and it was like, "Here's your desk, man. Here's a desk," right? So going to the days where
definition
we made no money.
Bootstrap.
Yeah. We went out to eat at this local restaurant that we went to a lot, and we became friendly with the owner. And he had asked us what we did. So we had told him, we're building a site and blah blah blah, whatever, And he said, "Oh, can you build me a website for my company?" And sure, yeah, why not? I was thinking we were just going to build it for him because we ate there. Maybe we can get some free food, right? So he then offers us $600 to build him a site. So voila, we can make money, right? So all of a sudden, we have a site up and running in like 2 days. Get him a site. It's great. It's beautiful. Hand it over to him. He loves it. And all of a sudden, now we know how to make money, right? And that kind of turned into, as I was talking before, how you pivot from one business idea into another. Rock Grip leads us into the whole web development and software development world, right? Where we now start building websites, custom applications, because we know now this is how we can make money to fund Rock Grip, which then Rock Grip ends up dying out and turning into a web development company and an IT company. And then that turned into New Dynamics, which primarily focused on e-commerce. Our first customer, when we decided to move to New Dynamics, our first customer was an e-commerce customer. And we built his site off of a platform called Interspire, which turned into BigCommerce.
He still works with us today, too.
Yes. So we built an e-commerce site. We definitely saw a future in e-commerce. So we focused on e-commerce. We became partners with Interspire. At one time, we were building, 70 to 100 plus, launching 70 to 100 plus sites a month.
Wow.
And a lot of the people who work with us today were the developers and people who worked on those platforms with us back then. And this is going back to 2009.
Yeah, John
And
and Franco, all the guys.
yeah, and then going into sales and orders, we decided that when Google Shopping was frugal at the time and Google Base, we had built some software to build feeds to get people on Frugal, which was free at the time. And we saw huge increases in sales. So it was always a fight once you got someone in an e-commerce site. How do we drive traffic to the site? So then you would do SEO. So we turned into a marketing company as well. So we had a development and a marketing part of it. Like how we built these people's sites, they're great designs, they work great. Now, how do we market them? And that's where kind of sales and orders was born slowly, where we saw there was more of an importance to market and help e-commerce store owners drive traffic and do sales rather than building the sites. BigCommerce started to make their tools really easy. Shopify made their tools really easy, where people can get up and running very quickly and didn't need really custom development anymore, but they needed the marketing side of it. And slowly sales and orders became what it is today, which is, again, those pivots that we take over time to get to where we are right now.
Right. And you, Greg, became quite close with Mitch Harper and Eddie from the founders of BigCommerce, right?
We did, yeah. Well, we were one of the first. I think we were their first customer ever on Interspire, and we did a lot of custom development with them. So through those times, we became close with them.
Awesome.
They're great guys. Yeah. They built a great company. They did well.
Yeah, I mean, we're Elite BigCommerce partners now. Our apps are built into Shopify. We're also now built onto Magento 2, fully integrated. It's been a wild ride. I gotta tell you, man, I a lot of times I just think about some of the crazy things that we went through, just trying to make this all work, right? If you remember back in IRCE, that one time that we all had to sleep in a limo for about 16 to 24 hours or so.
You do what you got to do, Tony. You do what you got to do. You got to get the job done. Yeah, that was an interesting week. Let's say.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, so what? Obviously, you probably don't know it, but IRCE, and I think this was 2015 or something along those lines. But we had attempted to get on our flight out to Chicago. Internet Retailer Conference is now called RetailX. Obviously, with everything going on, all those shows are canceled or postponed at least. But we were working really hard to get a flight out of LaGuardia Airport, and it was just cancel, delay, cancel, delay, cancel, delay, cancel, delay. And Greg and I are on the phone. We're like calling friends of ours. Luckily, I had a friend that back from when I was in the restaurant industry, Stevie Z, who hooked us up with probably the oldest limo on the planet. And we all hopped in this limo, and we were like, all right. And he gets his ex-Marine buddy to drive us.
Originally, when Tony said to him, we got to go to Chicago, he was thinking Chicago, the Broadway show, which was only 20 minutes away from us. And Tony's like, no, not the show, the city.
So he had to call his ex-Marine buddy, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, wake him up.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, the TV fell off. The cooler cracked and like leaked all over you. You were soaking wet. Like your whole leg, one pant leg was totally soaking wet, right?
Yeah, it was not. It sounds fun to drive in a limo. It was not fun.
Not with four guys. I had to sleep on the floor the whole time. Yeah. So I woke up like,
And then we had the show that day.
Got
there and then had to go get everything set up and.
Yeah, we showed up at 6 a.m, and then we all took like a power nap and then ran down and set up the booth and everything.
Yep.
Good times, my friend. Good
Good
times.
times. Good times.